Hey, all, Peyton Marine here with another video. We're doing another in the crosshairs of the kill team, the new kill team that's coming out. They've got a couple articles up. We're going to go over those. So we're actually going to, right now there's 3 articles out. They have like the top 5 things you need to know. Then they have one that kind of goes over some of the new movement kind of ideas, which that's mostly what this video is going to be about, because I want to really dig into the supposed, I guess you could say, controversy that it has caused within the community. And then there will be another video that I'm going to make right after this. That's going to mostly focus on the other article, which is the ranged combat phase or the shooting phase in the new kill team, which is pretty interesting indeed. So let's jump on over to the article here and we will get to take a look. So, all right, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is the 5 things that you need to know. Okay, so we just got the kind of the basic intro. So 1, all new skirmish rules. So we really mean it when we say the kill team is completely rebuilt. Every rule is bespoke, and they are no longer based on the Warhammer 40,000 rule set. Now, this is a theme I want to just point out that's kind of funny to me, at least, is the use of the word bespoke. They had this article, they use it the next, like that's their new favorite word to describe this new edition. So dynamic rules will allow players to relive the tense and gritty Spec Ops missions full of heroic moments and nail-biting decisions, like the demolitions job seen in the stunning cinematic trailer. This new kill team experience simulates close quarter skirmish combat, and stealth positioning are every bit as important as shooting, and commanders need to use all the cunning to outfox their opponent. Yeah, so I think we'll go through this real quick, and I have a few ideas, or I don't know, kind of observations that I have so far of what we've seen, kind of like of what's going on in this new edition. But yeah, so brand new stats. Units data cards are changing, showing off what your operatives can do in more detail than ever before, which we'll dive into more in this next article because it shows one of the data cards. So frontline troopers can act with their comrades, nimble fighters can dodge incoming fire, and powerful soldiers like mighty space marines can perform more actions in a turn than lesser beings. We'll have a closer look at those new data cards later, so keep your eyes peeled. The battle for Octaris. Kill team is set in a growing maelstrom of Octaris sector. These Imperial forces and Xenos hordes collide in apocalyptic battles on a daily basis. The new narrative setting is home to a continually developing story. Okay, we got narrative campaign books that are probably going to come out and add stuff to your kill teams if you do a narrative. Kill teams themselves are to take critical missions in theater war, hoping to break the fragile stalemate. So it's important developments in the battle sector, not directly involved, have a stake in the monumentous conflict. All right, alternating activations. Constant back and forth action is the cornerstone of this new edition of Kill Team. As commanders take alternating turns to activate each of their operatives, sudden dashes of objectives can come at any moment, and plans must change on the fly. And in-depth customization. The kill teams themselves are highly customizable, as you would expect from the elite teams of operators. And there are many build options available. Each model can be equipped with weapons to match different specializations within their roster, and no 2 kill teams are alike. Check out these 2 examples to demonstrate how differently you can make a single base model look. Now, of course, these models look amazing. Their paint jobs are awesome. I really like this scheme right here. I think it's like it looks like 158th Regiment or Battalion. I'm not sure how they number their units. But that's also because my favorite color is this olive drab green color. But it's a weird pet peeve or whatever you want to say, critique, but they say check out these 2 examples to demonstrate how differently you can make a single model look. Like obviously we can see, but I would have actually preferred if they had like the exact same model. So we have like this sniper here and another one painted in this color scheme here. So you could legit get the exact same model, not two from the same kind of unit, but the exact same model. And here's what they look like. They also have an example of orcs down here below. Same thing. Like I want the exact same model, just painted differently. I think that would have been a better way to show that unique difference that you can do. This one actually, now that I'm looking at it, I mean, these ones are, well, you know what? Actually, these are kind of the same. I think they use the same base body here, but then the arms are different. So I guess I have to retread a little bit. This is the same base model, but the arms, and so they're including all the bits. Okay, so that makes sense. So aside, I just got focused in on the paint. I didn't even like really pay attention that the body part here is the same, because I noticed it here on the orcs, they have the same pants. And then I noticed, well, you know what? He's got the same backpack and straps here. So again, we have the same body, just different head, different arms. So it looks to be the same up here. Okay, so I guess they did do what they said somewhat. I still, I guess in a way, would have maybe on a painting level, to see how just different an exact replica of a model is. But this shows you that there's options here. At first glance here, it didn't even look like the same model initially. So I guess that proves their point. But yeah, so I guess in general, what I want to talk about on this article is how much this kind of sounds like and is reminding me of Star Wars Legion. I'm not sure if people have played that. I've played it. I actually had to, again, focusing down on like my main army in 40K. I sold a lot of my like periphery games I've been playing. So I sold my whole army, my whole clone army that I had for Star Wars Legion. And it was a fun game. I loved it and all, but I just really, again, was trying to focus down on just one thing, because I've got enough stuff not getting painted as is. But that's what this is kind of sounding like. It's sounding like Star Wars Legion, but on a smaller scale, but the same rules. Which Star Wars Legion in general is a lot smaller game than a game of 40K, but not as small as Kill Team. So yeah, so again, so we'll go over the stats a little bit. I mean, we got the narrative, but like this alternating activation is a big thing that's in Star Wars Legion. And that was usually denoted by, you would have these orders kind of thing that you would issue, and they had like these little dots on them. So like to issue like a certain kind of order action to your troops, they would cost like, so many. So like a simple one, I can't even remember what they were, like the different ones were called, but there would be like a simple one that would just be like, attack or something. And it'd be like one little dot on there, or pip, as they would say. And then you might have another one that was like, you could issue an activation order to like 3 units, and something like that would cost like 4, or had like 4 dots on it. So you'd you'd put them all in order, and you'd flip the cards over, and you'd leave them in a spot, you and your opponent, like what you wouldn't touch them. And then you would flip over your top card that you chose. So you knew like the top one, your bottom, all the way down. And you would flip over, and whoever had the highest number of like dots on your card was the one that got to go first. And then you would activate from there. Yeah, and so then you could activate, if like you used that 4-1, you could like issue order or whatever to like 2 units. So that would make like 2 of your units activate before your opponent could. So you would issue your orders to them, and then, yeah, you would go back and forth. But anyway, it sounds kind of similar, and I'm not sure, obviously we haven't seen the other rules yet, but not really sure how that alternating activation is going to work, who gets to go first, that kind of thing. And I'm assuming it'll change up every turn. You have to do some kind of determination, whether it's a roll off or what exactly. But I'm sure there'll be something to kind of like go back and forth, so you're not always necessarily going first or second or whatever. So, and with that, we'll go on to the next one, because that also kind of plays more into kind of how Legion is as well. So this is the one where the controversy starts to come in a bit more. So again, we have your games of Kill Team are going to be electrifyingly good thanks to the new bespoke data cards. So I will say I do like the idea of them having like data cards, but I don't know how much that means like actual cards. Like, will I be able to go out and buy a pack of cards that goes with my Kill Team? or are they just going to be in the book? If they're cards that I can actually physically have, like I'm a big fan of that. I think they had them in what, Shadow Spire, or is it, I think it's Shadow Spire, and then I think Warcry as well. That just makes it easier. Instead of having all these books open everywhere, you can just have your like core rule book. So if you need to reference like a core rule, you have it there. But for the most part, you have your data cards just laid out there for your kill team, so you can quick reference them without having to like flip through a book or ear page something or have a bookmark and then it doesn't like want to close or open because they don't do ring binder on the spine, so it's like can't lay open flat, which that's something if you look into a lot of places, they're not all, I've heard some people run issues with this, but with my old kill team books, like I would take them to Staples or Office Max or Office Depot, and they would cut the binding and put them on a spiral, like a ring spiral thing for me, which makes it so much easier to use. You just lay them open, they stay open, and so much better. But so one of the changes coming is the reimagining kill team. You don't want to miss a reveal, do you? So yeah, the first thing you'll notice is the movement characteristic. What exactly does a 3 circle or white circle mean? Which I'm not really sure, like the color, the reason why they went with colors, because it's not like there's a red circle and a black circle, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, to keep everything quick and easy to measure, Kill Team uses a system of 4 colors with corresponding shapes to represent common distances. Again, I'm not really sure the use of the 4 colors. I don't know exactly what's up with that. And then again, like maybe there's more to it. Maybe there will be other different colors of these shapes that they have, but yeah, we'll see it. So here we have the data card. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Now this is the movement, and then this is the action something point level or something. I think they talk about it further down, but I'm pretty sure, I can't remember what this stands for exactly. I do know they talk about it, but I do know it's the action. So this is how many actions they can do. I don't think they had talked about what GA is. DF, I believe, is the defense dice. They haven't really spoken on that. But I think that's how many dice you can throw to make a save potentially. This is their save characteristic, how many wounds they have. Which 7 right now, you're like, whoa, that's a lot. But if you've probably already seen this new ranged one, we're finding that even with 7 wounds, there are some units out there that can potentially deal out a decent amount of damage, where that 7 wounds, while it may seem like a good amount, is actually not going to be all that great depending on who's shooting at them. So yet the last gun, so it has 4 attacks, ballistic skill 4+, and damage 2/3. And then the bayonet 3 and 4+, and another 2/3. Now this, I can't remember what the S is. I don't remember if they say next, but this means range. And then this explanation point is usually some sort of like special rule thing, which they talk about in the next article, where you'll see like MW and then a number that means mortal wounds, and then whatever that number is that potentially they can deal. The damage 2/3 is 2 is the regular amount of damage that it does if you hit, and the other one is if you get a 6. So they're going with critical hits now, which is again another thing that's similar as in Fantasy Flight games. So a critical hit will get you the damage 3, and the only way to cancel a critical hit is if you get a 6 on your save dice, or you have to use 2 of your regular saves to cancel out 1 6. So yes, that's interesting. The other thing here to note is you don't have a strength stat, and there is no toughness stat either, meaning there is no to wound roll. You're just rolling to hit, and then they're rolling to save, and then you're comparing your dice and canceling out accordingly, which they'll talk more in the other article. And they also kind of mentioned these symbols down here. Some they haven't really said like how exactly they interact with everything, but that these are part of it somewhere. And then you have your keywords: Imperium, Astra Militarum, Regiment, Trooper, Veteran. So the first thing you'll notice is the movement character. What exactly is a 3 circle to keep everything quick? So they have these new these new gauges as well as these shapes. Now, one critique that I 100% agree with and don't quite understand why they did this is you would think that they should have went with something where your shapes or whatever they're doing actually correlate with how far you can go. So there's actually like, a triangle for 3 inches because it has 3 sides, 3 inches. I don't know why you would use a pentagon, which has 5 for a 6-inch move. So that one's close, but not quite. A circle you could do, I guess, for 1 because it's like a dot. I don't know what you would really do for 2 though. I mean, someone kind of did like a weird oval shape that kind of had 2 sides. But anyway, it just seems kind of like weird that you would pick these shapes that aren't, I guess, as intuitive as to how far you can go because of how many sides they have. So again, I'm not really sure the point of that. And then again, the colors is like, I don't know if that's going to come into effect later either, because the gauge they give us, while it has the shape, there's no color. It's not color, it's just a gray thing. So I don't know. As far as right now, I mean, my plan is I'm probably just going to spray it with the chaos black spray, and then I'm going to do just a dry brush of orange, since that's kind of like the kill team colors. So it'll just be like black with a quick dry brush of orange, and then depending upon if there's anything else to do with these colors or not, then if it's just a square is blue, because it is, then I'll paint accordingly. So I'll paint the square blue, triangle black, pentagon red, and where did I miss? I don't know. I think I didn't say square, maybe blue. Anyway, so I'll paint on the colors, and then I may even go as far as to even get like a little transfer of a number from like the Space Marine, like vehicle transfer kit or whatever, and put like the number on there too. So there'd be like a number 3 there, a number 6 or something like that. Just to have something to make it a little bit quicker of a reference guide to help. But again, we don't really know what exactly the shapes, if they are, I don't know. Because I can't really even say it's to help younger people come in, because I know like with my kids, they knew their numbers before they even started like preschool. Like we were doing numbers and stuff. Like maybe not everybody. I don't know. And I feel like numbers, for the most part, they usually say math is a universal language. So I feel like not most people across various regions and cultures and stuff know those numbers, but maybe not, I guess. But all right, so it says it allows you to easily check your ranges using the combat gauges included. As operatives are injured or affected by special conditions, their movement values will increase or decrease. So there could be, various things. I'm sure there could be like a tar trap maybe that slows them down, or they have to go over an obstacle, or they get wounded that might decrease it, or they get some sort of like combat drugs or stimulants that maybe they can go further. So yeah, we haven't seen all that yet, but I'm sure there'll be some sort of effect like that. To the right of the movement character, so this is what is action point limit, or APL. So this determines how many actions an operative can attempt in a single activation. While most human Xenos have a score of 2, models like Space Marines can do even more. They'll be covering those later on. So an action thing will probably be, especially like the most common thing with an APL of 2 is probably like a move and a shoot or something like that, or take cover, shoot, take cover. I don't know the order of operations yet, but most likely something similar to that. All right, so given the tense of the close quarters, okay, maybe they don't. I don't know if they talk about this GA thing or not. I don't remember, but so we see that they have a movement of a 3 circle. So that's the other thing too, is they haven't really. So what does 3 circle mean? So 2 inches, right? So you would be like, okay, and this is what I assume it means, but at the same time, if they have only 2 actions and a 3 circle, because my thought is like, okay, well maybe 1 action equals one of those 3 circles. So if you want to move, because otherwise you'd be like, well, 3 circles is 3 times 2 is 6, right? So they should be able to move 6 inches. It's like, yes, but you have to use an APL for each one of those is my guess. I'm not certain, but that's how I would interpret it. Meaning, so if you want to move so if you want to move 2 inches, you're gonna have to spend 1 of your action points. So you can move 1. Now you can still move an additional 2 circles, or yeah, basically. So you have to spend another action point, and then you've gone another 2 inches. Now you've gone 4 inches, and you've used both your APL. Now you can't move anymore, even though they could potentially move another 2 inches. You might have to use a special rule or like that's like a stimulant or whatever that might be to then get an extra action point or APL to then move that full 6 inches. That's how I think that goes. Again, we haven't seen, they haven't gone that in depth, but I would assume that's what that means. Because otherwise, why would they do 3 circle? It would just be the pentagon, right? So I'm pretty sure that's what that means. But so yeah, given the tense close quarters, it's only a matter of time before bullets start flying. Luckily, your operatives have a defense characteristic to help keep them alive. This represents how good they are at diving to the ground or otherwise getting out of the way of enemy fire. So the model save value is the only thing that made it across from the old kill team data cards, though you may be surprised now that it only protects you from ranged attacks. So it only protects from ranged attacks. So maybe the GA is, so you can, I don't know, or maybe you just have to take it on the chin if you're in close combat. We're not sure yet. We haven't had the close combat article. But anyway, the model save value is the only thing that that made it across. The entire new system turns your melee fights into desperate back and forth duels you'd expect to see in action movies, which we'll be exploring later on this week. So I'm very interested to see how that goes. See that the Humble Guardsman has 7 wounds now. In fact, all operatives have much higher wound characteristic. This goes hand in hand with changes to weapons damage, creating for more cinematic moments as injured sailors limp toward their objectives, while fewer objectives or operatives are cruelly cut down before getting their chance to act. The operative, okay, so real quick, looking at this, we got DF3. I'm assuming that's defense 3. So again, we don't know yet exactly. I think this means the number of dice that you can throw to try and make a save and again, I think for each wound. So like if you take 2 wounds, you get to throw 3 dice to try to take out that 1 wound, and then another 3 to try to take out that other wound, and that save of 5, and then 7 wounds. Someone said in the I think in the preview they saw in the book or somewhere that it said like orcs actually have 14 wounds. So it makes sense, they're bigger and everything else. Their save is probably a 6+, maybe a 5+, since they're boys, or knobs, I should say. I think they're knobs. But if they're boys, it's probably a 6 up. So they have way more wounds because they're kind of more tougher and can take the hits, but they don't have any armor because they're orcs. They generally don't. And then the DF, again, maybe the defense, I don't know how many dice they'll have, but it's interesting if the orcs have 14, how many wounds a Space Marine might have. But with that being said, a Space Marine is most likely going to have him the 3+ armor save, and then who knows how many dice that they're going to be throwing at that too, if that's in fact what that means. I would assume I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So yeah, so as operatives' abilities, the unique actions are what truly set them apart. Each model's specialist skills are represented either as an effect that lasts all game or as actions they can take in the heat of battle. The hardened veteran can shrug off even the most grievous wounds, for example, while the comms veteran can use Voxcast or delay spur of the moment orders to distant comrades. So a veteran, each time, so basically they have like a feel no pain here. Each time this operative would lose a wound on a roll 1d6 on a 5+, that wound is not lost. You can ignore any or all modifiers to this operative's APL. So yeah, I'm not sure the last part. I guess there may be somebody that can maybe put something onto effect that maybe knocks your APL down for a certain person down a point or something like that. So in this version, or for this particular hardened by war ability, they can ignore anyone trying to like affect how many actions they get. So they get to ignore that and potentially ignore wounds on a 5+. They have basically a 5+ feel no pain. So for comms, you have a signal. So this will cost one. Well, it says one AP here. So is that because APL is an action? Okay, well, let's read here. Signal. Select one friendly veteran guardsman operative within Pentagon, red Pentagon of the visible to this and visible to this operative. Add 1 to its APL. This operative cannot perform this action if it's within engagement range of an enemy operative. So we're not sure how close engagement range is. It's probably one black triangle, or yeah, it's probably one black triangle is my guess. But I'm not really sure what the 1 AP is. It's not an APL, so I'm not sure if there's gonna be, because they haven't mentioned that either. There's gonna be command points again in this version. So is it AP the new command point? You know, the action point or something that you get for the whole army or something. I don't know. But whatever that is, it looks like there's something that you may have to spend in order to use that. Lastly, there's the keyword section at the bottom of the card, familiar to players of Warhammer 40,000, that lets you quickly see if an operative is affected by rules that target a specific keyword. Next to that is an array of 4 symbols representing the specialisms your operative can adopt during a narrative play campaign as you build a kill team of storied heroes. We're taking a much closer look at narrative play in the future. Okay, so those symbols at the bottom are combat, staunch, marksman, scout. And I believe the one at the top was, I think it was the combat. Yeah, so these 2 are grayed out, so I'm assuming the orange ones are the ones that take effect, which were the marksman and scout. And it sounds like all this is going to take place mostly on the narrative thing. So if you're just playing a one-off game or in a tournament setting, these will not be anything that you'll need to worry about right now. All right, so that is it for now, for this one at least. In the next one, we're going to go over the ranged combat stuff. So what are you thinking so far? What are your likes, dislikes? I know there's a lot of hate and discontent about this color shape thing going on. I'm not too upset really by it. The only thing, like I said, that I would have done differently is to try to figure out a way to better correlate the shapes to the distances to make it just a little bit more intuitive. With anything new and different, it's just going to take time to get used to. I don't think this is anything that's going to be game breaking. There's already been a ton of people that are already like, well, I'm done. This is done. I'm out, whatever. So to them, I guess, sorry, good luck. You know, you could go play Star Wars Legion and then you may come right back because you're going to realize, oh, well, like, you know, they use their own little rangefinder things. There's not really an actual distance because they're not set inch. I mean, you could measure the distance if you want, but it's a whole different thing. And the dice don't have pips on them. They have like your crit hits and your just hits and all kinds of stuff like that. It's a really fun game. But yeah, so I guess that's it for now. So let me know what you think. Are you one of those that are upset by this change? Are you just waiting to see what the rest has to offer? What are your thoughts on that? Leave them in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Again, if you haven't already, I definitely appreciate the like, subscribe, check out my Facebook page, Instagram. They'll all be in the link below. And until next time.